How do you translate the experience of being in a specific physical space and what that feels like for people who can't be there? Quarantines have made this question suddenly much more important for industries like real estate, event spaces, universities, and cultural institutions. So we did some user research to find out what works well about them currently and what could still use some work. We learned a few big things with virtual tours. Users thought of virtual tours as a secondary tool after photos and videos. Especially when the task involved gathering information for big, consequential decisions like buying a home, booking a wedding venue, or choosing a university, people consistently looked at photo galleries and even pre-recorded video tours before using the 3D virtual tours. This was because they expected the virtual tours to take a lot of effort to use, and they turned out to be right. Users would quickly flip through a series of photos to decide if something was interesting enough to invest the time and effort to take that full virtual tour. Virtual tours take a lot of effort to control, and moving through the virtual space is slow. These tours, they're not really full 3D worlds. They're truly just a series of 360-degree photos linked together. This means that users can't freely move through the space at the speed they want and stop and look around. They also load really slowly. For example, one mobile user walked into a room during a house tour and got frustrated trying to turn around, go back into the hallway. He said, "For me to turn around and get out of this room, that was like 8 thumbs worth." Spatial orientation was also a big struggle. Users weren't always sure exactly which room they currently were in and what other rooms were nearby. Text labels on the arrow links between rooms helped somewhat, but quickly cluttered the view. And navigating to other parts of a space that were non-adjacent was also really difficult. There were some other experiments with film strip thumbnails or a dollhouse view where you could teleport. But these were difficult to control, and users often overlooked them anyway. This is pretty similar to the crude 3D video games of the 90s. In fact, several people compared these virtual tours to the video game Myst from 1993. Video games have progressed dramatically since then, but virtual tours are still stuck in the past. Users wanted a guided, expert walkthrough to get them excited about the space, rather than having to fend for themselves. They wanted someone to tell them what they were looking at and why it mattered. An expert guide, like a realtor, a museum docent, or a park ranger, could offer up useful information at the right moment, often things that users wouldn't even know to ask. Imagine when touring a virtual home, you could see information at a glance about the size of the room, which direction a window is facing so you know what the light is like throughout the day, how many power outlets are in there, and things like that. Or in a museum, you could have contextual information about the brushstrokes and the technique, and also the life of the artist. This is not easy to do well. You need to understand specifically what information your users want and when it's appropriate to reveal it. But if it's executed well, there's a huge opportunity for these virtual tours to go beyond an in-person visit and be better than reality.